So the second technical strategy document that was released by the State Board ctcLink team was that on the data conversion. And this is a pretty big part of the project. It'll be taking our data that's in the legacy system and converting it, cleaning it up and converting it, and then moving it into the PeopleSoft environment. So the first step is cleaning up the data and making sure that it's good data that we're going to push into the PeopleSoft environment. In order to do that, the first stage of that cleanup process, end users or folks at the various colleges will need to go into the legacy system and get rid of duplicates, get rid of data that doesn't need to be in there, and then at that point the data can be pulled out of the legacy system. But before it can go to the next step of cleanup, it has to be converted. And one of the interesting things I found out about this project is that the existing format that the data is in is something that was developed by IBM back in the 60s or maybe 70s. But anyway, this format is non-standard. In fact, IBM had developed 6 different types of this format, and none of them can talk to each other. So it's about as non-standard as you can get. And so that data needs to be converted into a standard format or ASCII format so it can then be uploaded into the PeopleSoft system. So once that conversion takes place, then the data will be moved into a staging area in PeopleSoft called the Hub. And this will be a secondary area or a staging area where people can go in and clean up data some more. So get the data as clean as possible before then it gets moved into the production PeopleSoft environment. And then once it's in there, there'll be some capabilities for some data cleanup, but not a whole lot. So it's important to make sure that the data gets clean in the first 2 steps before it gets moved into the production environment. And then in the strategy document, one of the interesting things is they talk about how much data will be moved over. And so on the campus solution side, just for an example, student records, they'll move over like 6 years of student records. So if somebody was active within the last 6 years, their data would get migrated over. On the financial side, vouchers, 2 years of vouchers, vendors, all active data. You can see there's different types of data and time frames for that data that'll be migrated over. And on the HR side, they recommend that only active employee data be moved over. So not all the data is going to be migrated over, but even though all of it isn't being migrated over, we will still have access to that legacy data. So for instance, once the project is fully complete, so in 2017, for at least a year after that, the legacy system will still be available for people to access data. And then during that period, they'll be looking to migrate the data into a more modern platform that will then be accessible for historical purposes. So people will still have access to that older data. So it's a pretty big part of the project and a crucial step to get our data over. And this is the strategy to accomplish that.